can we have at least 4 to 5 the different classifications of fungal infection. One, we have superficial and cutaneous mycosis. When you separate pa rin yung dalawa, no? When we say superficial mycosis, these are fungal infections that would involve only the superficial layers of the skin. Right? But both of these two, superficial and cutaneous, may include other derivatives of the skin as well. Right? So, with such infection, there is no deep invasion of the tissues. They're concentrated only on the keratinized layer of the skin. So, in this case, we have the stratum corneum. Okay, so again, their infection is limited only to the stratum corneum. Okay, that would be the keratinized tissues of the skin. So again, as I've said, this would also include the derivatives of the skin, including the hair, the claws, the nail, and etc. Now, specifically for superficial infection, sabi natin, there is no living tissue that is involved. Remember that the keratinized layer of the skin and its derivative, they are all dead tissues. Okay? So they're all dead tissues. So there's no living tissue that is invaded. And hence, there is no immune response. Okay? So there's no immune response. When I say immune response, that would be the reaction of the body to an infection. And that would include, for example, reddening, itching, pain, and the like. But in this case, since they are only able to invade the dead layers of the skin, there is no immune response. So how can we say that there is an infection? Simply, the effect is cosmetic. It's either hypo or hyperpigmentation. We will say hypopigmentation, meaning loss of pigmentation or color of a certain part of the skin. And we say hyperpigmentation, darkening. Because the intensity of coloration is increased. Okay? So, one particular example is pityriasis versicolor. If you are familiar with this disease. Okay? So, pityriasis versicolor. So, the causative agent is a fungus known as Malassezia. Malassezia purpura. Yeah, let me.
Purpur.
So again, the causative agent is Malassezia purpura. So basically, this is just a lipophilic yeast. It is a yeast. When we say lipophilic, okay, it has certain affinity for fats, okay, for the fats in the skin. So usually, this is just characterized by certain discoloration, okay, or hypopigmentation, okay, hypopigmentation of the skin. Meaning to say that sometimes this may just appear as certain white spots, okay, on the skin. Okay, that is pityriasis versicolor. Now, if there is hypopigmentation, there is also hyperpigmentation. And the condition is known as tinea nigra. Okay, from the term itself, it is manifested by hyperpigmentation of the skin. So the causative agent again is a fungus, particularly known as
Versicolor?
Pyeloarenomyces wernicki. Pyeloarenomyces wernicki, formerly known as Exophyla wernicki. Kasi yun na kanyang old name, ano? Exophyla wernicki, but ito na kanyang bagong name, ano? Pyeloarenomyces wernicki. So again, this is characterized by hyperpigmentation of the skin. Parang mayroong certain blackening or certain dark spots. Okay, that's present on the skin. Okay? Now, sa skin lang yan. There's also certain infection, particularly on the hair. Okay? So, that is known as pidra. So, meron tayong mga pidra na tinatawag. Okay? So, this is a fungal infection usually involving the hair, which may resemble pediculosis. When I say pediculosis, that means parang, ano pediculus? Hindi yan. Kuto. Okay? Kuto. Kuto, may kuto, ano? So, kaya nga pediculus, kasi pediculus humanus capitis. So, that is basically kuto. Okay? So, kaya term na disease is pediculosis. Again, sabi ko, this disease is an infection of the hair that may manifest as pediculosis. Because this may resemble, parang, example, this is the hair. Parang, this may resemble the eggs of louse. Ano ba tawag sa egg ng louse? Parang lisa. Okay? So this may resemble egg ng louse. Okay? And again, meron din natawag na black pidra at white pidra. Okay? Pag sinabi natin white pidra, the causative agent, Trichosporon vigili. So, white pidra. So, imagine, you have a black hair, tapos meron kang, parang nakasabit-sabit dyan mga lisa, or knits. Okay? So, that is basically your white pidra. Okay? And we also have black pidra. Ito naman, you have black hair, for example, then parang may mga knits na kulay itim. Okay? This is caused by Pedraea hortae. Okay, so again, so all scientific names should be underlined. Okay, so again, ito naman. Okay, so we have hair with such black, parang growth which may resemble knits of lice. Okay? Ayan. So these are actually fungal infection. Okay? But in some other tribes, for example, in some African tribes, the mere presence of this pidra is an indication of beauty. Yung kagandahan doon. Kapag mas marami, parang mas maganda. Not knowing that these are fungal infections. Okay? So, gusto niyo ba doon? Meron. So, again, these are just superficial mycosis. So, fungal infections, resulting in infection of the keratinized layer of the skin without producing an immune response. Okay? It's just manifested by either hypo or hyperpigmentation. Now, the next class is cutaneous mycosis. When we say cutaneous mycosis, again, this infection will only include or infect the keratinized layer of the skin. However, with cutaneous mycosis, the mere product of the fungal infection may initiate an immune response. Ito na. So not necessarily the fungus, but the products of such infection. So this may cause an immune response, which is usually characterized as circular lesions. So the common buni or ringworm. Yan. How would you characterize a ringworm lesion? Yes?
Sa edges niya po is parang medyo thick siya, tapos yung dun po sa gitna is parang thin siya, tapos makate.
Kaya sabi niya, kaya there's an immune response. The periphery, sabi niya, okay, the periphery usually, sabi niya, thicken, kaya at the same time, ay redden. Okay, so this periphery is redden. But because that is the site where active infection is. While at the center, usually, sabi niya ay medyo flat. Because dito nakita yung healing. So this will start as the same, a small dot, and because of that, there will be an immune response. So the tendency of the fungus is to spread centrifugally. So palabas. That's why usually the lesion is becoming circular, larger and larger. And because of the products, okay, of such an infection, there's an immune response, which is characterized sometimes by itchiness. Diba? Itchiness. And to some instances, there is also a slight pain. So depending on the invading organisms. And this would include the dermatophytes. Okay, so generally, there are 3 genera of organisms that are classified as dermatophytes. We have our Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. Okay, so these 3 genera of fungi are classified as dermatophytes. So again, they will have the same manifestations, but it may affect different species of animals. Okay, so lahat ng yan, ringworm ang kinukos niya. For example, in dogs, the most common will be that of Microsporum canis. Tayo yan. Okay, so meron tayong mga Trichophyton, Verrucosum, which is more common among cattle. Okay, so again, so there's so many different species of this different dermatophytes. Okay? So the next class is subcutaneous mycosis. This would include the fungi that infect subcutaneous tissue without dissemination to other sites. So meaning to say that usually these infections are introduced to the body via splinter usually. That's why this type of infection is more common in areas where they are not used to wearing slippers or boots, especially occurring among farmers. Okay, so mga farmers, nakaapak lang, then pupunta sa bukid, may matutusok, for example, splinter, with such fungus, that they may appear black in lesion. Parang ng blackening. So, lumalaki naman parang lunal. Okay, sa mga paa. Okay, so they may be caused by certain groups of fungi known as chromoblastoma. Okay, the condition, chromoblastomycosis. Okay, mycetoma, or Phaeohypomycota. So, napakaraming fungus that are capable of causing this condition. Okay, subcutaneous mycosis. Again, once infection sets in, it does not spread to other parts of the body. It will just be concentrated on the area where the infection sets in. Then we have systemic mycosis. Ito na. Okay. These infections involve the lungs, but may disseminate and involve other organ system. Okay. Tingnan nyo. Okay. Infections involving the lungs. Because usually, the infection will start via inhalation of the spores. So that is the main portal of entry of the organism, the respiratory tract. Okay? And from there, the spores will tend to germinate, okay? And then this will form some hypha, for example, and eventually that may spread to other parts of the body. So pwede mag-disseminate. Now, one interesting feature of this systemic mycosis is that it can never be contagious. Because with our superficial mycosis, cutaneous mycosis, that could be infectious. Usually, via direct contact, you can acquire the infection from an infected individual to the next individual. But in this particular case, it is never contagious. The fungi can be infectious, but it can never contagious. So what does it mean? Yes. So if an individual has the infection, the infection cannot be transferred to another individual. Meaning to say that another individual can be infected if galing ulit sa environment. If that individual inhale, for example, is spore that's coming from the environment. And not necessarily from the secretions of the infected individual. Kaya nga, agents of systemic mycosis are highly infectious but never contagious. Ganun na kasi ang mechanism or portal of entry niya. So, sabihin, yung agents that are causing systemic fungal infection, although some of them may be released by the secretions, wala siyang ability to infect an individual. So, paano kaya ang reason nun? Bakit nga ba? Bakit nga sa tingin natin? So again, each of this particular microorganism ay mayroong certain infectious form. And the mycetial form usually is not infectious. The infectious form is the spore. And usually, for most the spores are usually being formed in the environment. So sporulation kailangan sa environment. And at the same time, they have the preferred portal of entry. Meaning to say that even if this infection is, sabihin natin, ipahid sa skin, you can never have an infection. Because again, sabi natin, there is this preferred portal of entry. So very important yun, portal of entry. So that would include, for example, blastomyces, coccidioides, histoplasma, paracoccidioides. So ito na. The spores of this particular organism, again, can first develop in the lungs, which may spread to other parts of the body. And that may include the brain, including the bone as well. Diba? Parang ang hirap mapuntahan yung mga areas na yun. But they can develop onto that organ as well. Lalo itong blastomyces, for example, this can be transferred into the bones, causing such deformation of the bones. Now, there's also what we call opportunistic mycosis, in which infections occur only in immune-suppressed or immunocompromised individual. Ito yung sasabi natin, no? For example, ating mga Aspergillus, Penicillium. So these are all present in the environment. So their spores are present in the environment. But we never get sick because we have good immune system. But once you are immunocompromised, let's say you have a disease which could be immunosuppressing, tulad ng ano yung immunosuppressing na disease? Example ay? Feline immunodeficiency virus. Ano ba?
Ang bata bukas, gano'n ko na crush ko.
For example, as a human, we have AIDS. Di ba? Ang pinaka-common, kahit immune deficiency, kahit disease, ano? Okay, yung mga ganyan. Even cancer. Di ba? So, these are all immunosuppressive. Okay, so if you have this disease, for example, then there's higher chance that you will acquire these opportunistic infections. Okay? Very, very common. Yes. Okay. Sabi niya, yung mga fermented foods, okay, for example, ano product of fermentation? Beer, for example? Or kimchi, okay, for example. Okay, so if these are fermented with, ano ba ginamit sa kanila? Are they this fungi, opportunistic infection? Hindi naman, di ba? Okay, so most of them from yeast, okay, for example. Okay? Which are not part of this mycosis. Okay? So ito ang good yeast natin, okay, for example. Okay? Yan, gamit sa paggawa ng beer, ng wine, ng alcohol, okay, sa mga. So general methods for the diagnosis of mycosis. One, history. Of course, history. If you have history of having contact with an infected individual, for example, or if you have history of, let's say, coming from a cave. We know that in a cave, diba? Example, kahit lalo ang mga disyerto, maraming mga, ano ba nandun? Ha? Ano? Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, meron doon, pero, alam natin, very dusty. Okay. Tapos, kahit doon pa, minsan yung mga bats. Okay, di ba? Mga bats, tumatay, may guano, sa guano, kay very nutritious, nag-grow yung mga fungi. Okay? And that may favor sporulation as well. Okay, so dami-daming spores. Remember, contained yung environment. So, highly concentrated yung spores in that particular cave. Tapos pasok kayo doon, without necessary mask, etc., and you might acquire infections. Okay, so if you have history of that, kasama yan, checklist, Clinical signs, so depending on what type of mycosis. Meron ka na ba parang ringworm? Meron ka na ba certain cough? Kaya nag-develop? So these are the clinical signs. Gross pathology. Okay, for example, after you have been exposed, tingnan natin, baka sa buhok. Okay? Or baka sa ilang tissue, baka kailangan ng kumuha ng sample, biopsy. Yan. And in few cases, intradermal skin test. Okay? So, there is some infection, such in the case of coccidioides. Okay? We have to get an extract from the culture of the coccidioides, and that will be injected continuously on an individual. If a particular individual is infected with coccidioides, that will result in a particular reaction. So parang papantan. So parang ito kayong ginagamit with tuberculin testing. Are you familiar with tuberculin testing for the diagnosis of tuberculosis? Injection din yun. So we have an extract of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So inject siya sa individual, and only infected individual will show reaction. Okay? And that will be measured. Kasi syempre, lagi may reaction yan. So depending on the severity, or on the extent of the reaction, we can say that a particular individual is infected or not. So meron din tayo dito. Sabi ko yung coccidioides skin test, for example. Okay? And this should be backed up by laboratory investigation, which may include culturing of our organism. So that may include direct microscopy, isolation, and eventually identification of the pathogen. Okay? So, just like in bacteria, some biochemical reactions are used for the identification of fungal infection. Okay? For example, based on colonial characteristics. Based on colonial characteristics. Ano yung colonial characteristics? Again, okay, we need to grow our organism on a suitable medium. Okay? Let's say the most commonly used is SDA. Sabourons dextrose agar or potato dextrose agar. Yan ang common na ginagamit, ano? Okay? Because it is non-inhibitory. Okay? So, pag nag-grow yan ng fungus, okay, eventually, the fungus will grow spores. Okay? And based on the nature of the spores, okay, doon sa kanyang conidia, for example, as well as the characteristic feature okay, of the mycelium, we can identify the microorganism. Okay, so pwede yun. Okay, based on colonial characteristics, the color okay, of the colony as well as the reverse. Examination of fruiting bodies. Yung mga macroconidia, for example. Okay? For example, kay boat-shaped macroconidia, kay thin, thick wall, with 7 or 8 spores, that would be typical of your Microsporum calis, for example. Okay? If that tends to be kay parang shape, kay numerous spores, that will be typical of your Trichophyton. So maraming ganyan. Okay? So, okay, that will be studied with your mycology course. And of course, certain biochemical reactions. Okay? So in the laboratory, di ba, nagpa-perform na kayo ng mga biochemical test. Tama? Ano na mga ginawa yung biochemical test sa lab? Carbohydrate fermentation test. DSI, liquid sugar ion, ba din? MRBP. Okay? So, bukod sa carbohydrate fermentation test, ano pa?
Ganda ko pa yun.
Okay? Again, okay. Motility, hindi naman necessarily biochemical test o biochemical reactions, but kasi makita natin doon, to be a presence of flagellum. Okay? So, that can be manifested. So, but the biochemical test, ano ba?
Yung mga sugar.
Citrate.
Ayan, citrate.
Citrate. Okay? Cyclocitrate. Okay? Which detects what? Ano yun?
Sugar.
Citrate? Detects what? The ability of the organism to utilize citrate as the sole source of carbon. Diba yun, citrate test? Ba, ganyan exam sa lab. Identify the reaction, interpret the reaction. So dapat, sinabi nyo, alam nyo kung ano. Okay, so again, biochemical reactions is more common among bacteria. However, there are certain fungus okay, that may be identified by means of biochemical reactions. And that biochemical test is simply your urease test. Familiar with urease test? Okay? So, lagyan mo sa urease test. Cleavage ng urea to ay, nako. Ano ba ginagawa ng urease enzyme? It's an enzyme. It's able to convert urea to ammonia. Diba? So, two molecules of ammonia will form your urea. Diba? Okay? And basically, we can detect the reaction because meron siyang indicator. And what is that pH indicator? So, ano ka? Ano meron? Oo nga. Kaya so, ano ating indicator? What reagent? Alin? Ano na? Sure ng Kidarwell. Ha? Hindi neutral red. Oh, man, bigyan ng bago ng neutral red. Ha? Oh, magkaiba yun kahit parehong pula ha. Okay. Ang phenol red in acidic reaction, okay, magkakos ng color na medium to yellow.
Yellow.
At pag alkaline,
Red.
blue. Red, po siya.
Blue.
Pero kapag neutral red, pag acidic, ay yun naging red. Baliktad. Diba? So, with our urease test, phenol red ang ginagamit natin. Okay? Because, okay, nag-convert urea to ammonia, and the positive reaction is reddening of the medium. Now, sabi natin, this is the only biochemical test that can be utilized for the determination of the identity of a fungus. Kasi yung iba, for example, carbohydrate fermentation test, other protein utilization test, hindi siya nagagamit, but our urease test. Particularly true with trichophyton. Okay? Trichophyton metagrobites.
Wow.
So, sanay na kayo dahil sa mga mahabang scientific name. Oh, tingnan sa para-micro, mas makarami na yan. No? So, trichophyton metagrobites, for example, okay, so this is a dermatophyte, which can be identified by biochemical tests, particularly the urease test. Okay, because this will give positive reaction for your urease test. For the direct microscopic examination of clinical specimen, take note that since first we are dealing with our cutaneous and superficial infection. Okay? If that were the case, then we need hair sample. So, if you will be using hair, okay, for your diagnosis, make sure that it should be plucked. Okay? It should be plucked and never cut. Okay? Because the fungi, particularly the fungal spores, are located within the root. Okay? Not necessarily the shock, okay, but nasa kanyang root. Okay? So, doon natin makikita. Okay? We can also do a skin scraping. So, we can scrape the skin or examination of the exudates and even biopsy of infected tissues. So, this specimen can be stained with these particular chemicals. One is potassium hydroxide. Although potassium hydroxide is not necessarily a stain, but this will act as a clearing agent. Okay? So, clearing agent. Why is it called a clearing agent? Because potassium hydroxide is able to digest proteinaceous components of the host cells. For example, dead skin cells. So it tends to digest proteinaceous material from the host cells. Okay? That's why it is called a clearing agent. Because most fungal infection ay meron mga debris, skin debris. Okay? So this potassium hydroxide is used to clear that debris such that the fungal arthrospores will be easily visualized. Okay? So, generally, we can use either the 10% or 20% potassium hydroxide solution. And of course, the 10% potassium hydroxide solution is used when only a few debris is present. Kung medyo makapal ang debris, then you can use the 20% potassium hydroxide solution. Calcofluor white. So, calcofluor white is a stain. Stain na to, no? Okay. So, this can bind to the fungal elements Okay? And they may flourish under ultraviolet light. So yung kagandahan nun, no? It has special affinity for fungal elements. For example, fungal hyphae. Okay? And this will flourish under ultraviolet light. So therefore, you will need a fluorescence microscope, okay, for you to visualize the fungus stained with calcifluor white. We also have India ink or nicrosin. Familiar. India ink or nicrosin. Para saan to? Okay, for capsule staining. So therefore, this is specifically used for the identification of capsulated yeast. Tulad ng isa lang ang discuss natin na. Sabi natin, this is the only capsulated yeast. Ano yun? Sino nakakatanda? The only encapsulated pathogenic yeast. Cryptococcus neoformans. Okay? So, India ink or nicrosin. So, negative staining technique. Okay? To determine the capsule. So, Cryptococcus neoformans. We also have periodic acid shift. Periodic acid shift. So, this particular stain will stain certain polysaccharides in the cell wall of fungi. So, very specific, ano? Okay? Polysaccharide present in fungal cells ang stain with periodic acid shift. And usually, if there is certain fungus on the tissues, this will stain the fungal cell walls pink with bluish nucleus. And next, we also have our right and ginseng, which is also used para sa mga tissues. Sa tissues, ginagamit natin yan. Okay? So, just the same. Okay? So, this will provide a bluish na cytoplasm or bluish spores or nucleus. Now, there's also another stain that is used in the laboratory. Okay? So, ito, perhaps, ang gagamitin nyo for the identification of fungus. Lactophenol cotton blue. Na common din siya na ginagamit. Okay. So this particular stain will stain the chitin molecule on the fungal cells. So very specific, ano? Kaya will stain the chitin molecule. Sabi natin, chitin ay found in the cell wall of fungus. Okay? So that will be the major component of the cell wall of fungus that will be stained clearly with our lactophenol cotton blue. Okay? So again, pero stain, iba-iba ang specific target. Okay? Parang yan, ano? Okay? So, ano kayong ginamit dito? Doon kay other spores, and some hyphae, okay, which flourish. Flourish or calcifluor white. Okay? So, there's certain fluorescence that is seen when viewed under fluorescence microscopy. And ito, of course, yes, ano? Kay India ink or this negative staining technique is staining the background, but again, identifying criticals. Okay? Ito kaya, periodic acid shift. Okay, so that can be stain the fungal element is pink. Ito basically, ginseng. Okay? So as you can see here, this budding fungus. Okay? Now, in terms of therapy, medyo madali lang. Because their eukaryotic fungi are biochemically similar to that of the host. Whether human or animal. So therefore, sabi, it would be very difficult to develop chemotherapeutic agent that would invade fungus without harming the patient. So yung ating principle of selective toxicity. Diba? If they are infecting human or animal cell, but it has more or less the same biochemical characteristic of the fungal cells, so therefore, medyo mahirap na. Okay? So, kaya nag-develop ng mga drugs, kaya pwedeng merong specific target on that of the fungus. For example, yan. Eukaryotic cells, whether mammalian, or even human or animal, may contain sterols. Tingnan natin, in their cell membrane, so meron silang cholesterol among mammalian cells. That provide rigidity for the membrane. But among fungal cells, ergosterol. Because of this difference, this could be targeted by a drug without harming the cholesterol present in the cell membrane of mammalian cell. Okay? Parang ito lang, ano? Okay? So, with the ergosterol synthesis, nangyari galing sa acetylcholine. Okay? And eventually, leading the formation of this ergosterol. So, from these different pathways, there are several drugs that are directed, preventing the formation of ergosterol in fungal cell membrane. So, yan basically yung targets. So, primary antifungal agents, we have polyene derivatives such as amphotericin B and cysteine. So, very common, the azoles. Diba? Ketoconazole, fluconazole, itraconazole, voriconazole, posaconazole. Kaya common natin nakita sa mga antifungal drugs. Diba? Tulad ng di ba nakita mo yan? Saan nakita mga to? Ano ang antifungal? Sa? Hindi nakita. Kaya meron tayong ketoconazole shampoo. Kaya di ba? Meron tayong ketoconazole na ointment. Sa mga tursik, for example. Kaya di ba? Nakita natin yan. Kaya mga antifungal agents. The azoles. Okay? Kaya glycofulvin, cytosine, kay allylamines, kay ipocandines. Natin. First, amphotericin B. So, amphotericin binds specifically to sterols. Again, particularly ergosterol. So, amphotericin B has greater ability for ergosterol than cholesterol. And binding to fungal cell wall alters the permeability and intracellular contents leakage. No, but particularly not the cell wall, but on the cell membrane of our fungi. Because that is where these particular sterols are found in numerous amounts. Okay? So, de-integrate nilyon. So, therefore, that will alter the permeability of the cell membrane, so allowing fluid and electrolyte leakage. Okay? So, that will kill the fungus. Okay? So, among them, so many different drugs, ito mas common na ginagamit. Because of less toxicity compared with other drugs. Okay? So disadvantages, it may cause intravenous administration, thrombophlebitis, it could be nephrotoxic, there could be fever, chills, anemia, specifically on long-term administration. Okay? Kasi, again, if you are dealing with fungal infection, usually the treatment is longer compared with that of bacterial infection. That's why nga, chemotherapy itself can be used as a diagnostic measure. Para sa atin, no? Yung mahilig, for example, na mag-self-medicate. Mayroon ka certain lesion. Ano kaya yun? Siyempre, unahin, inom ng antibiotics, particularly antibacterial. Tama? Okay, can develop ang resistance. Okay, so kung hindi siya gumaling with antibacterial, okay, baka fungus ang cause. Diba? Kaya sometimes, ginagamit ang chemotherapy as a diagnostic measure as well. Specifically for certain systemic infections. And again, most of the time, fungal infection would require long-term therapy. Okay, so mas matagalan. Because with common bacterial infection, usually, sabi ng doktor, okay, continue medication until magamit antibiotics. Yung antibacterial natin, gano'ng katagal kapag ititake ka ng antibacterial? 2 weeks. Sa ating animal nga, usually up to 7 days lang. Kaya common na prescription natin. But with fungal infection, this may require months. Okay? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even 6 weeks na medication. The azoles. Okay, so there are few rare serious side effects from itraconazole and fluconazole. Okay, although most of these azoles drugs are not systemically being given. Okay? So glycofulvin, slow-acting drug used for skin and nail infections. It tends to accumulate stratum corneum and prevent hypal penetration through these layers. Ang action kay ating glycofulvin. 5-fluorocytosine, so interferes with the RNA synthesis of our fungi. And again, without RNA, there will be no protein formation or protein production. So that will lead to death of our fungi. Okay, so polyenes, okay, this may interact with the ergosterol, azoles, again, also with the ergosterol, glycofulvin, form fungal barrier, okay, to the cell layers of the skin, and 5-fluorocytosine inhibits RNA synthesis. Okay?
Sunod ba ba? Mycology, wala na.
So, any question?